You see, as you make it, there comes a point when you are rich enough to finance sin. When you are rich enough to finance sin, you become your own temptation. So what happens is that as you progress in life, and as you acquire capital, and you know there are different forms of capital, intellectual capital, financial capital, governmental power, all those things. When there are some people that are lucky, or I don't know whether they are so blessed, that there's a concentration of all those powers. At that point, you are more likely to be a victim if you don't surround yourself with a structure that prevents you from doing harm to yourself. Because when you are rich enough to finance sin, you become your own temptation. So, once you recognize that, what you need to do is not to, you need incredible amount of discipline. You need to discipline yourself so much, but that discipline is not enough. You need to create structure. For example, in my office, you don't knock to enter my office. I don't care whether you are junior staff or senior staff or anything. Anybody enters the office without knocking. I also have a structure around me, and then I have this wonderful woman that I married. It's hard to describe my wife. She is so incredible. She is superlatively incune. She will pray for me. She will defend me. She's a sacrificial person. And she's very, very spiritual. She's very beautiful looking, and that betrays the spirituality that she has. So she's my friend. What you find is that the more money you make and the more successful you become, the more isolated you become.
Yes, sir.
And when you are isolated, it's so easy for the least thing to break through the system, because the way to break through that system is the person who is brazen. So one small girl who is brazen can just break through your system. You have to ensure against that. And it's incredible focus, incredible discipline, and being honest with God. Some people are not honest with God. They don't believe that God can read thoughts. They don't know that sin to God is different from the kind of standards of sin that we have in the legal system. In the legal system, you have what you call actus reus and mens rea. Actus reus means what you do. Mens rea means what you think. So mental capacity, acting, actus reus. Now, what the legal system says is that no amount of thinking evil against somebody will constitute an offense as long as you don't do anything. So even if I want to kill him, as long as I don't lift a machete against him, there's no offense. In God's system, it's different. Both the mental capacity and the acting is considered sin. That's why Jesus said, if you as much as look at a woman with lust in your eyes, you are committed adultery. So God looks at both mens rea and actus reus. The actus reus is not your problem. The mens rea is your problem. So you need to learn to shut down certain things. And temptation is going to come after you. I don't know if your name is Jesus. I don't care if your name is Jesus Jr. It will come after you. But over time, if you are disciplined and you are focused and you set structures around you, you can beat back most of the other things. The rest, only the mercy of God can save you, because when a woman is determined, just think of Potiphar's wife. When a woman is, people think of Potiphar's wife as just one old woman and everything. She was an incredibly brazen and serious woman that it took Joseph running to get away from such a woman. I mean, just think of that, Mrs. Potiphar. What you pray against in your life is meeting Mrs. Potiphar. Because she has no conscience, She's a racist. Remember, she said that Hebrew. She just wants to use you and circumvent your destiny. Because the best that Joseph would have become with Mrs. Potiphar is senior houseboy. And that's the end. Sometimes I ask myself, when Joseph became prime minister, did Mr. and Mrs. Potiphar, did they go into exile? Because they dealt with him badly. But I'm saying that just having that vision in front of you and saying that nothing is, the kind of focus that Dr. Maduka is talking about, you need to have that focus. So when I wake up in the morning, for example, I don't do shalama, I just pray senselessly. My office is my brain. I sit down on that bed and I meditate the entire day out. Every client problem, I reason it out with God, find all the solutions. I finish the work at home before I get to the office. I only execute in the office. So I write down all the things that I need to do. So you need to keep yourself busy, is what I'm saying. You need to keep yourself with God, and you need to depend on the mercy of God and not fool yourself and say you are Superman. You are not a Superman. A Superman is a fool.